Hey everyone, how you doing? Here's an account of a recent canoe trip on the Upper Connecticut River, filmed by my friend Justin Sylvester, whose YouTube channel is It's Good in the Woods. This is an account of myself, Justin, and a friend Josh. We had set off on the Upper Connecticut River from Canaan, Vermont, with the goal of reaching Guildhall, Vermont. Sadly, our trip was cut short, and you will see Justin's video. I lost all my video in this incident, and the camera's gone, so Justin was kind enough to share his stuff with me, and we are thankful it turned out the way it did. No one was hurt or anything, but please, once again, as Justin stresses in this video, please wear PFD. I was extremely lucky. So, all right, here you go. Enjoy. If you spend any amount of time in a canoe at all, you're gonna go for a swim. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of time. Wear your life jacket at all times. Wear your PFD. The unsung hero in this whole thing is the life jacket. If Joe wasn't wearing his life jacket, this could have turned out very differently. The life jacket saved his life. So let's get into it. Howdy homies, I'm back on the Connecticut River, Canaan to Guildhall. I'm out here this weekend for 4 days with some fellow Mid-Atlantic Northeast canoe fanatics, Josh and Joe. We are at the put-in right now, getting all our stuff ready. We've already done the car spot. We left my truck at Guildhall, and we drove all the way up to here with all our gear at Canaan, and we're gonna put in the river, and then we're gonna make our way back down. Right now, we're just unloading our gear, getting everything packed up into the canoes, and we're gonna be on our way. Can't wait, looking forward to this. We're off, what do you guys think?
Ready to go.
Let's do it.
Do it.
The Connecticut River is very near and dear to me. I grew up on this river. My hometown borders it. My friends and I have spent countless hours swimming in this river. My grandparents also had a camp in Pittsburgh. My grandfather taught me how to fish on the Connecticut lakes and this river. This river, it reminds me of my grandfather. I feel connected to it. It sounds corny, but it's true.
For this trip, I'm using my Northstar Phoenix, and I've been making some adjustments to it, tinkering around and whatnot. I raised the seat, put some tilt on it, and I've got this configured for kneeling now. And this is the first trip I've ever done with a canoe in this configuration, so it's definitely going to be a learning experience for me. So far, I'm liking it. I also peeled the stickers off of the Phoenix because I don't like those. It looks much better plain, in my opinion, so it's going to stay that way. And ooh, I just saw a fish jump. Beautiful fish. Thanks for the fight, bud. Not skunked. And even though this canoe is set up with kneeling drops, I'm finding that I can still sit in the seat, paddle just fine. I don't feel too tippy in this boat. I still feel like I have control, stability. So that's good. Because it's nice to be able to change it up. The versatility is nice. That's wild. Check that out, guys. That is a big deer too.
Wow. Still in velvet. Wild. That's pretty crazy. Don't see that every day. That's why you filter your water, folks. That deer was wild. It was crazy. You don't see that every day. Man, I'd love to know how that died. So far, of all the sections of this river that I've canoed, this stretch is my favorite. Canaan to Guildhall, a lively, ever-changing 50-mile stretch of river. With massive silver maples lining its banks, this river flows through classic New England farmland. Our hills and mountains providing amazing backdrops that just don't get old. These waters also happen to be some of the best trout territories in the state. North American raptor territories, eskers, flatwater, swifts, class 1 through class 2. This section of river has it all.
Hey, look, double blade.
Nice canoe, Joe. Kayak. Nice. I fucked it up.
It's a pack boat.
But as amazing as it is, you can never really escape the sound of the nearby road. Houses dot its shores, ATVs use their trail network alongside the river. So you never really do get this feeling of being completely submerged in wilderness. But that's okay. That could actually work out in your favor, as we would find out soon enough. Well, the bugs were crazy and the landing kind of sucked, so we're pressing on. We're gonna head to Columbia Meadows. Hopefully no one's there. I feel like we're actually taking a pretty good gamble, push it on past that campsite and heading to Columbia Meadows, because that's the last campsite for miles and miles and miles. And if it's occupied, it could get interesting, but we'll see. It's all part of the adventure. We'll work it out. This will be a pretty good push for today. After driving to get here, you know, it's only 2 hours for me to get here, but these guys had to drive about 6 hours. And now on top of the drive, we car spot for another hour and then paddle about 14 miles. That is a day. It's a fun day though. Better than sitting on the couch, that's for sure. We got ourselves a picnic table, fire ring, a Joe,
Yeah.
river, there's a
of bug
house.
bites.
I'm really glad that I brought a tent and a hammock. Looks like it's gonna be a tent kind of night. Got a nice cold Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest courtesy of Josh over here. Muggy, I'm sweating my ass off. I have a feeling I'm not gonna sleep all that great tonight. Might as well be drinking. Good cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's delicious. Been a long day. Pretty hungry. I'm about to destroy this thing. Look at that. Oh yeah. Yep. Breakfast champions. First peach from my tree this year. Oh boy. Good morning. Yesterday was awesome. Last night was a lot of fun. It was nice hanging out with these guys and getting to know them. I had a hard time sleeping. It was pretty hot and muggy, pretty sticky. Looking forward to getting onto the river. We had a nice breakfast, nice leisurely morning, and now we're just loading up, packing up, and we're heading down river. And we're off. First time ever, I got blisters on my hands from paddling yesterday. It's never happened before. So I'm wearing gloves. I put some Band-Aid, put a Band-Aid on my finger there, and put some gloves on. Hopefully that's gonna help. We'll see. Here we go. Bye-bye, Columbia Meadows. You treated us well. Today is going to be the fun day of paddling. We've got quite a bit of moving water to go through. Some rapids up to class 2. I'm really excited about it. It'll be my first time running rapids in this canoe with my seat set up for kneeling. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Today we're paddling through a North American raptor territory where it's said that you can see every type of raptor possible on this stretch of river. They're here. Bummer, man. It's sad to see. At least everyone's okay. There's nothing we can do. Can't unpin it. We have to leave that canoe there. Oh my god. This is devastating. This is crazy, guys. Really unfortunate. Joe's boat is pinned, completely ruined. There's no salvaging it. We cannot unpin it. It's dangerous to even try. So there she be for quite some time. That is a really sad sight. Oh my god, the death of a beautiful canoe. At least Joe's okay. 2 people have stopped to make sure we're okay at this point, which is awesome. Faith in humanity. Some good people out there. Joe has got a ride back to his vehicle in Canaan, and he's going to come back here and get us, and we're going to figure out what to do from here. We might camp at the campsite tonight. We might not. We don't really know what we're going to do. I can't even believe this happened. This is crazy. Joe was right behind me. We're paddling down the river, and I turned around, and his boat was pinned, and I couldn't see him. And I started freaking out. So I actually paddled back up the river, which I'm a little impressed with myself that I was able to do. And we got his gear and stuff out. This is What a bummer. What a bummer. Everybody's okay. Trip's over, but at least everybody's okay. This is insane. I don't even know what to think. I feel really bad for Joe. I really do. I can't even believe this happened. I'm still trying to process it. Didn't even happen to me, and I feel like I'm in a mild state of shock because of it. Made me realize a few things for sure. Like diving into my next obsession, which is going to be river rescue. I've got a lot to learn, and if I'm going to do this shit, I need to learn it. That has just become very apparent to me. So live and learn. Live and learn. Oh boy, this is crazy. Anyway, Joe came back. Joe did make it to his car. He came back here, picked up Josh. They went back to get Josh's car. Now they're coming back to pick me up. That's where we're at right now. We're gonna load up all our gear, and then I don't know what's gonna happen. Joe and I might camp. Josh might go home. We all might just go home. All three of us might camp. We really don't know. We've got no idea. We checked all of Joe's gear. Everything is dry. So all his equipment worked, and that's great. So all his camping gear is still dry. He has expressed interest that he still wants to camp tonight. So I would like that myself personally. So we'll see. We'll see. They should be back shortly. I'm just watching the gear while they're doing their trip, and they're going to be back, and we'll see what we're going to do from there. I can't even believe this happened. I've never seen that happen before. This is a first for me. I know that water is strong, ungodly strong. I'm surprised that it folded that canoe in half that quick in those conditions. Mild class 1 folded that beautiful canoe right in half like it was nothing. That's incredible. Damn, feel bad for Joe. The aftermath. I've had a few days to process what happened, so let's go over it. But before I do that, I just want to say really quick that this could happen to anyone, anytime. Accidents happen. If you spend any amount of time in a canoe at all, you're gonna go for a swim. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of time. So let's keep the comments respectful and civilized, and wear your life jacket at all times. Wear your PFD. The unsung hero in this whole thing is the life jacket. If Joe wasn't wearing his life jacket, this could have turned out very differently. So let's get into it. From my point of view, this is how it went down. We took a quick break before the rapids to talk about our game plan, see what we were gonna do, how we were gonna go about it. We determined that I was gonna lead, Joe was gonna follow me, and Josh was gonna keep an eye on things from the rear. We made it through several sets of rapids that way, just picking our way through them, taking our time. I'd look back every now and then to make sure that everybody was okay, and I was pointing out rocks along the way as we went. Now, some of those rocks are lurking just below the surface of the water, and they're really, really hard to see until you're right up on top of them. And I'm pretty sure that that's what got him, because from my point of view, everything was fine until it wasn't. I have footage of us moments before the incident took place, and I tried to reposition my GoPro behind me to get better footage of Joe coming downriver, just for a different perspective. Well, in the process of doing that and trying to get the camera square and the horizon line right, I separated the gooseneck. So I abandoned that idea real quick and started focusing on the rapids because there was a more aggressive set coming up. I navigated through that little bit of rapids and turned around, and Joe's canoe was sideways, pinned on a rock, and I couldn't see him. And that's when things got really, really, really nerve-wracking for me. I could see the canoe the whole time. I could not see Joe. I thought he was pinned underneath his canoe. And I'm probably 100, maybe 150 feet downriver, and I started paddling my ass off to try and get back to Joe. And I'm not gonna lie, I was freaking out. I thought a guy was dying right there in front of me. About halfway through my paddle, getting back up to him, I could see his head pop up above his canoe, and then the canoe, just everything started to change, and that river folded that canoe in half right in front of us without much effort at all. It was amazing. I'm astounded that that river did that to that canoe that quickly in that mild of condition. At any rate, I got my canoe pretty much parallel to him, tied it off to shore, and started making trips back and forth to help him get his gear. The boat was super penned. There's nothing we could do about it, so I just started shuttling gear. Josh came to help us, and as a team, we worked to get whatever we could from Joe's canoe salvaged into shore. We saved everything except his paddle. He lost his paddle, he lost his camera, and his knee pad was pinned against the canoe in between there was no getting it. So for the most part, we recovered everything and it worked out okay. But it was a really, really, really nerve-wracking situation. I'm not trying to make it about me, but I was really scared. I seriously thought that Joe was pinned underneath the water and dying in front of me before I could get to him. But anyway, that's my version of the story. We were considering camping, but Josh ended up deciding that he was going to go home, and Joe and I decided that we were going to camp that night and make our separate way in the morning. Well, we got to where we were going to camp at about 3 o'clock, and it was hot, humid, and buggy, and both of us didn't see much of a point in just sitting there for the rest of the afternoon, sweating, getting chewed by bugs. So we decided that we would part ways right there, and that was that. Trip was over. It was a very unfortunate situation, but I'm very thankful that it worked out the way that it did. It's the death of a really nice boat, but Joe's okay, and that is absolutely the most important thing. The life jacket saved his life. I'm convinced of it. The canoe. The canoe was pinned, we couldn't move it, and we did not have enough rope to get from the canoe to shore. And even if we did, the tensile strength of that rope probably wouldn't have been adequate. And we wouldn't have been able to unpin it without mechanical advantage anyway. So we were stuck there. I'm gonna get a pin kit. I'm gonna start taking this a lot more seriously. This was an eye-opener for me. As people stopped, we asked them if they had ropes or chains. Nobody did. So just to be thorough, we called Vermont Fish and Game. We let them know that the boat was pinned. We let them know what mile marker it was on. We let them know that nobody was injured and that nobody was downriver in need of help, so there was no need to initiate a rescue. That was our primary concern. A few days later, I get a call back from Fish and Game. They called me back. They referred me to another gentleman. I talked to that gentleman. He couldn't do anything about it because he was in Vermont and the river is the property of New Hampshire. I called Vermont because we were standing on the Vermont side when all this was happening and I was reporting it. So I did get in touch with New Hampshire Fish and Game and New Hampshire State Police. So we were thorough. We're not breaking the law. I've got confirmation on that. We're not doing anything sketchy. They were very appreciative that we followed up, that we contacted them and gave them all that information. I'm not sure when they're going to get to it or if they have yet, but they said they were going to call me and let me know when they got a plan in place. So that's where I'm at. That's all I know about that situation. The canoe could still be there. I don't know. What I do know is that Fish and Game will take care of it. I mean, the canoe, we kind of feel like it was a total loss. I have had people tell me that we could repair it, but if Fish and Game doesn't call me back, who knows what's going to happen to that canoe. They'll probably just junk it, or somebody might know what it is and say, hey, I'm going to repair that. Good for them. I hope they do, because it was a really nice canoe. I don't want this section of the video to go on terribly long, but before I go, I would like to give you Joe's account of what happened, which is right here. He sent me a nice write-up about his version of the story, so here we go. I do not like reading out loud, so please bear with me. It was 10:20 a.m. on Saturday, August 17th. Myself, Justin, and Josh had just broken down camp along the Connecticut River at the Columbia campsite. Our day would consist of around 12 miles and 11 sets of swiftwater rapids. I was a bit nervous, as I am mostly a flatwater paddler. Thankfully, none of those rapids would exceed Class 2. Our first set of rapids just below where Clough Brook enters the Connecticut was pretty good. I'd say close to Class 2. I remember feeling nervous as my SRT bobbed through some pretty good standing waves, but was feeling confident as I exited the rapid. As we approached our next set of rapids, I remember Justin taking lead, with me following close behind and Josh about 20 yards behind me. As Justin entered the rapid, I could hear him yell, "Big rock." I tried to avoid the rock, but clipped it, and my boat was pushed on top of me by the current. I remember trying to throw my weight enough to roll the boat over the top of it, but instead the current grabbed my stern and spun the boat sideways. Now in the water and trying to free my legs from under the seat and not being successful, I was doing my best to keep my head above water. Thankfully, my PFD was doing a good job with that. I didn't panic, but after what seemed like at least 5 minutes, I was able to free one leg. As I reached into the water and trying to remove my shoe to free my other leg, I could hear the god-awful cracking sounds. The boat was pinned to the rock, and the water pressure and current were starting to snap the hull. A few minutes later, I was able to free my other leg. Justin was able to navigate the rapid and turn around and paddle back a few yards before securing his boat and wading the best he could to me. Meanwhile, Josh was able to eddy out before the rapids, seeing what had happened, and he too was wading to me. This section of the river parallels Vermont Route 102, and a passerby on a motorcycle saw what was going on and stopped by to help. Justin had finally made his way to me and began cutting my gear out that was lashed in. Josh reached us as well and began helping grab my gear And along with the guy on the motorcycle, all my gear had made it to the shore except a paddle and one of my cameras. Once we were all off the river, another passerby who had been fishing with his son stopped to see if we were all right. Right there, this kind person offered us a ride to one of our cars. Our trip had come to a screeching halt. It's really hard for me to believe and understand that what happened in mild class 1, but it did, and it can happen to anyone, and that water is so ungodly powerful. Just a little bit is capable of chaos. I'm just really, really glad that we're okay, that everyone made it, that Joe's okay. He'll get another boat, guaranteed, one way or another. He has other boats. It's not an issue. Joe is not boatless, but that's what happened. So guys, sorry if I got a little long-winded there at the end in this last little section, the outro, but I just wanted to be thorough and make sure that you guys understood what happened afterwards, the process, the procedure that we went through, that we did contact Fish and Game, that everyone's okay, and our accounts of the story. So live and learn. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. Later.